All right, everybody. Let's flip the script on how we think about money. Ready to dive in?
Always. Let's do it.
Today, we're tackling Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, this one's a classic. A lot of people have strong opinions on this book.
It definitely throws down the gauntlet, doesn't it? Like, hey, what if everything you thought about wealth was
I'm
wrong?
kidding. It's a bold claim, and this book does not hold back. I'm interested to hear what clicks for you as we break it down.
Okay, first up, the rich don't work for money.
Right off the bat, controversial.
It sounds a little crazy, right? At least it did to me at first.
Well, think of it like this. It's about shifting your perspective. Instead of always chasing a bigger paycheck, the book says focus on building assets, things that actually put money in your pocket.
They use real estate as a big example, right?
Yeah, rental properties are a big one for them. But it could be a side hustle that brings in cash, or even a stock portfolio that's working harder than you are.
And here's a curveball. They even challenge the idea of a house being an asset.
Yeah, that one throws people off.
It says that a lot of people work their whole lives paying for a house they never really own.
Right, they really hammer home this idea of liabilities versus assets. And an asset puts money in your pocket each month, a liability takes it out. They even use this simple kid's drawing to illustrate it.
So cash flow, basically. Where's the money going?
Exactly.
So instead of grinding for that paycheck, the book says we should all be building businesses. But what if someone, isn't cut out for that whole entrepreneur thing?
Well, that's where the rich dad character makes this distinction between your profession and your business.
Okay, I'm listening.
So you can be a teacher, a nurse, an artist, whatever, and still build a business on the side by acquiring assets.
Ah, I like that. It makes it feel more accessible. Like you don't have to quit your day job to start building wealth.
Exactly.
There's also this huge emphasis on financial education in the book. They're basically saying that schools just don't prepare us for the real world of money.
Oh, absolutely. They're super critical of the idea of job security.
Yeah.
That's what we're all taught to strive for, right?
Right. Get good grades, get a good job, you'll be set.
But Rich Dad, Poor Dad is like, hold up, that's not enough. They say it's more important to be financially intelligent and adaptable because the world changes, job markets change.
They even point out that people we think of as successful doctors, lawyers, can struggle financially because they lack that specific knowledge.
It's true. They might have the earning potential, but not the financial know-how to manage it properly. And speaking of which, they dive into the power of corporations.
Yes. How the wealthy use them to protect their assets and, let's be honest, legally reduce their taxes.
Right, and that's a key takeaway, understanding how corporations work and how to leverage them. They even give examples of using pre-tax dollars for expenses and shielding assets from lawsuits. It's a whole different ballgame.
So are corporations like the secret sauce to building wealth?
Think of them more like a financial tool. It's not about avoiding taxes entirely. It's about working within the law to keep more of your hard-earned cash. And that's where financial literacy comes in, knowing which tools to use and how.
So it all comes back to knowledge, huh?
It always does.
It's like knowledge is power when it comes to money, right?
100%. But knowledge without action isn't worth much.
True. And that's something Rich Dad, Poor Dad really hammers home. It's not enough to just read about financial freedom. You got to actually do something about it.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's a call to action. They want you to stop making excuses, overcome your fears, and start taking steps, even small ones, towards building your financial future.
No more procrastinating.
Exactly.
Okay, but how do you even get started? Where do you find the right information, the right strategy? The book talks a lot about finding mentors. What's the big deal with having a mentor, especially when it comes to finances? Think of it like having a financial guide. Someone who's already walked the path you want to take. They can share insights, warn you about pitfalls, and really, really accelerate your learning curve.
So instead of stumbling around in the dark, you've got someone there to shine a light on the path.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Having someone to bounce ideas off of, get advice from, that could make a huge difference. And the book also emphasizes that financial education is a journey, not a destination. Like it's not something you just learn once and you're good.
Yeah.
Having a mentor could be really valuable for that ongoing learning process.
Absolutely. A mentor can be a sounding board, a source of inspiration. They can even connect you to a wider network of successful people.
It's like having a shortcut to wisdom and experience. I like it. The book also talks about challenging your assumptions about money. It seems like a lot of us have these limiting beliefs that we may not even be aware of.
Oh, it's so true. They argue that a lot of us unknowingly adopt the financial beliefs of our parents or the people we grew up around.
We inherit a money blueprint. Yes.
Yeah.
And that blueprint might not be serving us very well.
Right. What worked for your parents' generation might not work in today's world.
Exactly. So it's crucial to examine those beliefs.
Mhm.
Ask yourself, are these beliefs helping me or holding me back?
It's like giving yourself a financial reality check.
I love that. Financial reality check.
Now, one concept that really clicked for me was the cash F flow quadrant.
Yes. Such a good visual.
It seemed like a really powerful way to visualize different approaches to making money. Can you break it down for us?
Sure. Picture a quadrant divided into 4 sections. Each section represents a different way of generating income. Employees, self-employed, business owners, and investors.
Okay, so each group has their own little corner. What's the significance of this quadrant thing? What makes it so special?
It highlights that each group has a distinct mindset, different financial challenges, different paths to building wealth.
So it's not just about how much money you make, it's about where your money comes from, how you generate that income.
Exactly. And the book argues that the key to long-term financial freedom is to transition from the left side of the quadrant, where you're trading time for money, to the right side.
Okay, so what's on the right side?
The right side is where you're building assets and systems that generate income even when you're not actively working. Passive income.
Ah, the dream. So employees and self-employed folks are on the left, trading their time for dollars, while business owners and investors are on the right, creating systems that work for them.
You got it. And the book makes it clear. Anyone can make this transition, but it takes a shift in mindset, a willingness to learn new skills, and a commitment to taking action.
It's about becoming financially intelligent, developing your entrepreneurial muscles, and creating a life where your money works harder than you do. Sounds challenging, but also incredibly rewarding.
It is. It's about taking control of your financial destiny, designing a life of greater freedom, flexibility, and purpose.
I like how the book emphasizes that financial freedom is not just about having a lot of money, it's about having choices and options.
Absolutely. It's about having the financial resources to pursue your passions, to spend time with loved ones, to give back to your community, to live life on your own terms.
It's about having the freedom to say yes to the things that truly matter to you, to create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations, not just your bank account.
Exactly. Align your financial goals with your life goals and use money as a tool to craft the life you want. Don't let money control you.
That's a powerful message. And speaking of powerful messages, one thing that really resonated with me was the book's emphasis on the importance of taking action.
Yes, you have to actually apply what you're learning.
It's about recognizing that knowledge is power, but only when it's put into practice.
Couldn't agree more. They emphasize that taking action, even in small ways, can create huge momentum and lead to significant results over time.
It's about building that habit of taking action, even when it feels a little uncomfortable, even when you're not sure if you're doing it right.
Right. And they encourage you to start small, experiment a little. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just keep moving forward one step at a time.
Progress over perfection.
Love it.
Another key theme that stuck with me was this idea of shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah. The book argues that so many people approach money from a place of scarcity, believing that there's not enough to go around or that they don't deserve to be wealthy.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
If you believe you'll never have enough, you're likely to make decisions that just reinforce that belief.
Exactly.
So the book really encourages readers to challenge that scarcity mindset and embrace an abundance mindset instead.
So instead of, I can't afford that, it's how can I afford that?
Yes. Focusing on possibilities rather than limitations. Believing that there are enough opportunities, resources, and wealth out there for everyone.
I love that. It's about believing that you are worthy of abundance.
Exactly. And when you believe it, you're more likely to create it.
It's a total mind shift.
Sure.
And speaking of mindset, the book also talks about mastering your emotions when it comes to money. Because fear and greed, man, they can really mess people up.
Oh, big time. They say fear can totally paralyze you, keep you from taking the risks you need to build wealth.
Frozen by fear.
Exactly. And then there's greed, which can lead to some seriously impulsive decisions. You know, the kind that can wipe out your savings before you can even blink.
Definitely been there.
It happens to the best of us.
Huh?
But it's about finding that balance, right? Between playing it safe and, taking calculated risks.
Not just throwing money at every opportunity that comes your way.
Right. It's about being strategic, not reckless. Do your research, understand the risks involved, and for goodness sake, have a solid plan to manage those risks.
Knowledge is power. Or in this case, knowledge is a pretty good shield.
Love that. You're not blindly jumping into the next big thing just because everyone else is. You're making well-informed decisions.
Because you've done your homework.
Yes. You're not relying on luck or just hoping for the best. You're becoming a savvy investor,
Mm.
someone who understands how to analyze risk and make choices based on facts, not just like gut feelings.
Which, let's be honest, can be pretty misleading. So it all comes back to taking control, right? Becoming financially intelligent and informed. And this book really pushes that, becoming your own financial expert.
100%. Don't just blindly hand over your financial well-being to someone else. Take the time to learn the basics. Understand those financial statements. And don't be scared of the numbers.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask your financial advisor, okay, so what does this actually mean for my money? In plain English, please. You have every right to understand where your money's going and why.
Exactly. Become a student of your own finances. Understand how money works. It might sound intimidating, but it's honestly one of the most valuable investments you can make.
Invest in yourself. Now, I gotta say, one of my biggest aha moments was when this book challenged the idea of a house as an asset. We're basically taught that owning a home is the American dream, the ultimate goal.
It's so ingrained in our culture.
Totally. But this book flips that on its head, doesn't it?
Completely. They're like, hold up. While a house can be a wonderful home, it's not always an asset in the financial sense of the word.
They straight up call it a liability, which, I'll admit, threw me for a loop at first.
It's a bold statement, that's for sure.
But when you really think about it, all those mortgage payments, property taxes, the endless maintenance costs, they're all taking money out of your pocket every single month.
Every single
Yeah.
part. So yeah, it definitely makes you rethink the traditional advice we've all been given. The book encourages readers to view a house as a consumer item, not necessarily as this guaranteed investment.
So if you're buying a house to plant your roots, create a home, and you're ready for the financial responsibility, awesome. But don't go into it thinking it's going to magically make you rich.
Right. And I think that's a really important distinction.
It is. Because a lot of people get caught up in that. Instead, Rich Dad Poor Dad says focus on building a portfolio of assets that actually put money in your pocket. Things like rented properties, businesses, investments that generate that sweet, sweet passive income.
That's the dream right there. Make your money work for you.
Exactly. That's a concept that speaks to people. No matter how much money you make, everyone wants their money to work a little harder.
Absolutely. And it's about breaking free from that whole trading time for money cycle. It's about creating a system where your money actually generates more money for you.
Which is the whole point of building wealth. Wow, this deep dive has really given me a lot to chew on. This book really challenges you to question everything you thought you knew about money and success.
It's definitely a wake-up call, a call to become more financially literate, to tap into those entrepreneurial instincts, and to create a life filled with more freedom and purpose.
Because ultimately, it's about realizing that we have way more control over our financial destiny than we think we do. We just have to tap into it.
Yes, you said it. We all have that inner rich dad waiting to be unleashed. And Rich Dad Poor Dad just might give you that little nudge to do it.
It just might. All right, everyone, that's it for our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a book that definitely sparks a lot of debate, and we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely. What resonated with you? What rubbed you the wrong way? Hit us up on social media and let's keep this conversation going.
And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to take a closer look at your own financial journey and see where that Rich Dad wisdom takes you. That's it for us. Thanks for listening.